coordinators. You know Callum Black ever so well, and he was pushing for victory earlier on, pushing a bit too hard for victory. Does that strike as true?
I think so, without a doubt. Yeah, he was on it, to be fair to him, I think.
Which we love. We love Callum Black on it. There's not much better in rallying than seeing a young driver like that really pushing hard.
Yeah, indeed. And he showed a good pace. But unfortunately, he's slipped off on a slippy right-hander. Luckily, they're both fine, but it's put him out of the rally, unfortunately.
Paul Wakely sat with Callum in his British Rally Championship days. A round of applause for Sam Adams and Michael Johnston there, who are currently 7th overall in our Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship Cruise. And Paul Wakely, you sat in with Callum. Actually, the last time he did these stages in the DS3, you would have been inside the car with him, wouldn't you?
Possibly, yes, might have been.
Great photo of that car with its back wheels in the air after going over the Hamilton's Folly jump.
Quite possibly. That would have been 2015-ish, maybe. Yeah, long time ago now.
He was talking about that last night in Lisbon. Yeah, he was. How things changed. Paul Morris, are you liking what you're seeing from our championship cruise this weekend? Some more than others, no doubt.
Yeah, it's a shame what's happened to Callum and Jack, but they, like Paul says, they were going really well.
Bit of jeopardy for Roski as well, not quite having it all his own way out there.
No, it's you know, Neil is in a fight now with Steve Wood, and he's got some time to claw back. It's nice to see Steve going well in the new car. That's going to give him confidence going into his local rally, Rally Ceredigion.
Let's not forget what happened here last year. The championship turned on its head once he won this rally, so you just never know, do you, with Steve?
It's never over till it's over, as we all know. And
just saw Gary Rogers too there, by the way, who's again another driver who started in a formidable rally car. Imagine doing your first rally in an Evo 6.
Wow, we can only dream of that, can't we? But again, Sam Adams has impressed me today. How he's just taken that hairpin and then the 90 right after it.
Spectators loved that, didn't they? I saw you with your hands together as well. But these guys are really living the dream here. They're loving life.
Yeah, there's some really good driving here today. I think it's Owen Sweeney in the Toyota Corolla. You know, we've seen him twice today, and it's been excellent driving both times. But also
Drew Stewart and David White, who funnily enough started their rally careers in a Corolla AE86 as well.
Yeah, and got to remember the co-drivers as well. It's great to see Phil Sandon back in the championship, back alongside Darren.
Although a bit like John Stone and Laura Marshall, I don't mind if you leave him out of the car every now and again, because I think he was quite entertaining on there with Phil with Mark at the Argyle.
Yeah, he was. He, you know, Phil is a really, really nice guy, really sound, and yeah, he is the legend, the championship legend, and lovely bloke. Ronnie, his wife's a lovely lady as well. And it's great to see him back in the car, and Darren's echoed that at servicing, saying it's great to have Phil back in the car.
John Gordon, James McEnany, all escorts in their history, and you can see why he knows how to hustle one around these Northern Irish lanes. If you are just tuning in, welcome to Special Stage. Fergal Kelly off. See you, mate. Thank you. You are listening to Special Stage Live. It's coverage of the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, round 6 of the series, and we're at the Carryduff Forklift Down Rally, stage 6, Bucks Head, and we're going to be live with Phil Bramwell as well in Hamilton's Folly, which is an incredible stage, and you saw the coverage earlier of the first jump. Well, he's moving a jump on, and that means big jumps in the next stage of the day, so stay tuned in Special Stage this afternoon, whatever you're doing, wherever you're watching from. We hope you're enjoying this coverage. At 30-second intervals, they are coming thick and fast. I think that was Shane Murray and Gary Haid, actually, although they went pretty fast past me, and I was walking back to you, John Stone.
Yeah, looked good, actually. Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody's trying. Some of the Mark II boys are really good, nailing that hairpin there.
Sam Adams, very impressive around there, wasn't he, in the yellow Mark II?
Very impressive. He actually got a round of applause from the crowd on that one, so, yeah, excellent.
Our championship coordinator, Paul Morris, who, let's face it, knows how to go quickly in a Mark II Escort, doesn't he, given his current exploits with Rob Goff in the BTRDA. He was quite impressed with Sam Adams coming around that hairpin. What are you furrowing your brow at me for, Mr. Morris? Does that mean you're moving on to your next location? I'm pleased that was the hand gesture for champagne, Paul Morris, because it could have been something else, like putting up a flagpole. Oh, Laura Marshall's off again. She just can't handle the glamour of rally TV, can you, Laura? You're so used to being inside the car. You thought you were busy inside the car. You'd have to put up with this lot.
Well, yeah, we're trying to be as PC as we can here, but it's difficult with you lot around.
You definitely bring a new energy to the championship. But John, the coverage. But John Stone has always brought a bit of a new energy to the championship.
Well, I wish I had a bit of energy for myself, but no, I really wish I was doing it. But this is the next best thing.
Paul Killen, who
Talking to the spectators there, that boy bought that car about a week ago for £4,000.
£4,000 for an Evo 3.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. A great story, and he's going well in it.
Yeah, no, Paul Killen is the Mark II driver that I told you about. Had that amazing picture. If you look on the Down Rally Facebook page, you'll see that picture. You can see so much scenery underneath him, when you can see the whole of the scenery underneath that. He's gone well over that second jump. Did quite a lot of damage and actually winded himself in the next couple of stages after that. So he said it came at some cost. Enda Kennedy alongside. They started in a Sunbeam. They've prefer their Escort, but a Mitsubishi Evo 3 for £4,000. But seems pretty reliable because he's been kicking his butt, hasn't he?
Yeah, apparently the Mark II just wasn't ready in time, so he went out and bought that.
He had a fairly big incident, a bit like you on the last rally. I can't remember which rally it was, but
yeah, thanks for rubbing that in, Paul. Yeah.
Philip Hamilton, Damien Kelly. 7 years in a C2 R2, and there they are in an Escort. It almost sounds like, do you remember when, I can't remember who it was that brought a rotary engined Mark II out to play, but it almost sounds like a rotary engine, that thing. It's raucous, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's a big one, is it? It's a 2 litre, is it? Something like that, but got that...
distinctive tone, hasn't it?
Yeah, got that hairpin nailed, that's for sure. Really well.
A C2 R2 Max. Where did they all go? In fact, most of them actually did come over here, didn't they? And,
There's a really nice one for sale actually at the moment. C&M, Marty at C&M would be very pleased to sell that. But yeah, I must admit, I've looked at that as a little...
It's 10th wedding anniversary present for Mrs. Woodford, wouldn't it?
It would actually, yeah, it'd be perfect. Yeah, it's in the works colours as well.
Yeah. I've seen it. It's glorious. I have to say, by the way, another man that you were perhaps tuning in expecting to see on these stages in the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, who isn't here this weekend, is Brad Cole, and there's a very good reason for that. His daughter Esme was born the other day, and we wish the Cole family all the very best, and not only in that, but also in the new R5 that is rumoured to be gracing their garage at the moment, ready for future rounds of the Pro Tyre. John's grimacing. Another R5 to play with, John.
No, I think, to be honest, I think it'd be a shame if he came out of the Mark II, because he's going really well. He's building...
It is only a rumour, the R5, but I have enjoyed peddling it.
Yeah, but no, he's nice lad, he's Brad, and going really well. And I think he's not so far off Darren now. So yeah, it's good to see. Good to see.
Yeah. But all the best and congratulations, because these are the best days of your life after the little ones are born. Isn't that right, Laura?
Oh yeah, definitely. Until they get the age they can start rallying, then it costs you a fortune.
So it's a good way into the entry. In fact, I think this is about where we had the stoppage last time. So we did actually leave the action, didn't we, at this stage last time around. So we hopefully will get a fair few more of the crews through. Do you know what I'm really gutted? One thing I'll be really disappointed with coming away from this weekend is that I did not get to see that Anglia WRC in action, because I said earlier how much I was looking forward to seeing it, and we're not going to see it, John.
I didn't even know it was on the entry list, to be honest. But that's a shame.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to seeing that for Johnny Cargo, David McElroy, they were telling us last night in Lisbon that there's a bit of trepidation with the wet weather. They weren't quite sure about these stages in the wet, and you can see there was a little bit of concern there, and now it's drying out. I'm sure they'll be much happier, but that first stage they've done this afternoon would have been fairly damp. I don't know what the weather's going to do this afternoon. Who knows? But it's certainly better than we were expecting. We were expecting wall-to-wall rain today, so we'll take what we've had, John. And you would have taken it, I think, if you were inside the Polo R5 Legends Fires car as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would definitely go on an intermediate, I think. Depending on what everybody else was going on, but I think an intermediate would have done the job this afternoon, I think.
Everybody enjoyed that one, didn't they? That wakes you up, doesn't it, Laura Marshall? I didn't even see what car number that was because I thought I was being shot.
Were we talking about check your underpants moment?
I was going to check in her underpants. Meanwhile, you, John, what car number was that?
I don't know.
That's interesting, isn't it? Christian Cochran, Martin Lynch, scaring the life out of most of us here. We should soon be hearing from the first of our Nissan Micra Challenge crews. We didn't get them through our stage earlier, but I enjoyed watching them through Phil Bramwell's stage. He'll be live in Hamilton's Folly next, so click the link to be notified whenever special stage goes live with the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, and there'll be plenty of action for you in that stage next. Barry Groundwater, oh, nicely done. Car 14 down this part of the entry, it tells a story in itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think when we saw him first time through, he was struggling for boost, I think, with the looks of it, but it looks like back on song now.
Well remembered. I have a question for you. You put a post a while ago on your Legend Fires page that you shared. You delivered a fire to, you didn't mention who it was, but it was a very posh garden. Someone famous. Was it a footballer or something? You must have met, or as a company, you must have delivered some, because you have some very high-end outdoor fire solutions. You must have delivered to some pretty interesting customers over the years. Can you mention any?
Yeah, I think we can. We've done Jonathan Davis, the rugby guy who's doing all the commentary now, and he was brilliant fun. Absolutely ripped the mick out of me from start to finish. We've done Alex Hollywood, Paul Hollywood's wife, and we've done lots of people. We've done what's she called out of Harry Potter, who's on the TV. I can't remember, but the best one was Alison McRae. We got to see all Collins cars, and which was just absolutely brilliant. It was incredible, actually. It was very moving. But yeah, we've been lucky to go to some nice houses. Like I say, we've done half the Welsh rugby team and none of the English, which I just can't get my head around. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
And if somebody were to order a very, very nicely spec'd Legend Fire, you would be happy to deliver it in a Polo R5, wouldn't you, John?
Listen, I love going out and delivering our outdoor fires. I've got a few to do in Scotland in a few weeks' time.
If someone said that, I'll buy a fire, but I want a Polo R5 to turn up on my driveway.
Yeah, listen, well, I'm not proud. I'll do it. I could just probably about get one in the back if I split it into bits.
That would be a fantastic mission. I challenge anybody there, if you're looking at getting a fire solution, a nice high-end fire solution for your new build or for your nice garden ready for the summer, or what's left of the summer, get John Stone to deliver it and get him to bring his Polo R5, because that would be something I'd like to see. Drew Gallagher in a late entry. Thank you, Laura. But people probably heard that twice. They probably picked that up on the mic and they'd be like, we know that Woodford didn't know that because we heard him go, yep, Drew Gallagher. It's only when I watch these things back that sometimes the little tricks that I use, I think, oh, they're not really tricks. That's an expression. I have to watch that dry line. It's a shaft popper. I like that. A shaft popper. I'll be using that again, Laura. Do we have any more rally terminology that Laura uses with I might like?
Say on screen, no, definitely not.
We got away with shaft popper.
No, it's worse than that.
Yeah, so serious note, dry lines appearing, and if they've come around the rest of the stage and it's pretty damp and pretty muddy, and you go around that hairpin, you can see the mud on the inside and the cars slipping and sliding, and then it suddenly gets on the grippy stuff, and you hear a clunk, and there we go. We've got the hand movements to go with it then as well. Makes great radio, this, doesn't it? Paddy McToll, Conor O'Lone changing the subject for us nicely around that hairpin, and again around the next one as well. Very neat and tidy. Sounds good, that car, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all the Mark II boys seem to have this hairpin nailed. The R5, quite a few of the R5 cars are struggling a bit, really. But
you've never done anything in the Mark II, have you?
Yeah, I've done a few rallies, but not a closed road rally. But maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. Oh, we want to see you out here fighting in the R5 again. Looking forward to that. You'll be out Ceredigion?
Not sure. It depends if we get it. We've got an entry in for Mueller, which is our target date. It's end of August, but we'll see. It's putting the boys under a bit of pressure, really. But just on the subject of cars, one car I've always fancied is Darien. Back in the day when they first came out, I remember sending away for the bum from Tim Duffy. Came like a photocopied brochure, fantastic. I wish I still had it, but no, great cars, and one day I will have one.
They've been used to such good effect as well, haven't they, on all manner of events as well, and really picking up where the Davrian left off. Kyle McBride, Khan Donoman, local crew, competed in the juniors in the Toyota Argo with Joseph Kelly, who you're going to see from next in the Peugeot 208 Rally 4, a bit like car that you saw Carl White in a little earlier, and they were both in Argos together in the juniors. A good example of the rally ladder brought to life here on the stages in Northern Ireland. Yeah, I mean, we mentioned the days of Melvin and Steve in the S12Bs when you were out in the Fabia, but then you had John Indry as well, didn't you, in his yellow Darien in the Cam Auto car. Gotta be careful how I say that one, haven't I? I'll get Laura going again, but that was a fantastic car, and he really drove that to good effect as well.
Great days, actually. Talking to characters and stuff, you can't be. There's no bigger character than John. Still speak to him regularly.
Saw him on the opening round here as well, didn't we? The 208 R4. Goodness me, does that sound good. We had John, of course, out in his Mitsubishi Mirage on the opening round, the Reed Group East Riding Stages, which opened the billing here in the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. And he was still as big a character as ever. Had Claire Williams in with him, and talking of characters and very experienced go-drivers, they don't come much bigger than her in character terms either.
No, I think she could probably swear more than he can. So I think it's a match made in
his car. He sort of graphics on the buckets to make it look like his yellow Darien. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do actually. I remember the first time it was called the Yellow Bucket. It was on the ferry to the Isle of Man. Yeah, happy days, really good days.
A great picture of John Stone and John Indry just about coping with a hangover on the Isle of Man in the queue for the ferries. You see Adrian Grant and Olivia Chambers, who've done an odd rally in a Toyota Starlet themselves, actually, out here in the Mark II. We spoke to them in Lisbon last night. Looking forward to the rally, and they've been going well today, actually, as well. Laura, could you do the honours and find the latest results? See if we've got any results from Hamilton's Folly.
The one sort of mover for me on there is Jason Mitchell. He's getting up to a podium position. Obviously not in the Pro Tyre Championship, but getting up there. He's going really well, actually.
Is Greer getting back on the pace a little bit, looking at that?
John is third at the moment, so he'll be happy with that.
He's got to take fifth, hasn't he, to get the McGrady Motorsport UK Northern Irish Asphalt Rally Championship under his belt this early on.
Yeah, I think Catherine's got the rally. He can just get through.
No shaft pop in there for Stuart Morrison and Johnny Bird. Another crew who've had a brief dalliance with a Toyota Starlet in their history, but who hasn't over in Ireland? It's either a Toyota Starlet or a Toyota AE86. John is a spider about to climb onto your face. You don't need one of them, mate.
Another going well. I'd be happy with his first rally, and it would be Joe McGonigal. I think he'd be very happy with sixth overall at the moment. So excellent, going really well.
And the Pro Tyre crews, to remind you, Steve Wood leads the way, the man who took victory here last year, and from there strung together a series of results which saw him take the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. He's overhauled Neil Roskell, who's having a bit of a scrappy day, struggling with setup early on, getting more slippery and having to be reined in, we think, by Andrew Ruppert, coming into the sixth stage of the day and then having the second of two minor offs here. And really having to think very carefully about how he manages the rest of the day, because it's a vital opportunity to grab a bag full of points to strengthen that position at the top of the point standings here in the championship. And at round 6, that's really what you have to be thinking about. I know Rally Driver, one of those standard Rally Driver responses, John, is I'm not thinking about the championship. That was one of your favourites. You used that a lot back in the day. But, you know, you are thinking about the championship at this stage, aren't you? There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be there at the end, haven't you? And perhaps a more cautious start is always the way we've done it in the past. So.
You used to enjoy your fight backs, but I say used to, because I've only just recently returned to covering this championship. I don't mean used to as in you don't have those fight backs, but I used to really enjoy during those days. You know, John Stone sort of somewhere in the middle of the pack on day 1, and the next minute everyone's watching the mirrors on day 2. They were good fights.
Yeah, it was always like a bit of pressure off then, wasn't it? And so you could just concentrate on driving. But yeah, good days, happy days.
Still got that approach, haven't you, really?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, still want to be as competitive as possibly can be. You know, the championship is probably as competitive as it's been in a long time now, but still feel we can do a job.
Gareth Deasley and Austin Joyce, that you saw through there in their Ford Fiesta R200. We've got new names coming through, John, but one of the key things for me is that you've still got this old guard. I say hanging on, that sounds disrespectful. You're still there and you're still very much in the hunt. And I think that's a really good narrative for the championship, because we're talking about 2011, aren't we? We're talking about 12 years ago here.
Oh yeah, I mean I was doing it before then. Really, I was in the metro. I remember turning up at Epping in the metro and going down to the first stage arrival, and just the number of crews that were there. They were, at the time, national legends really.
Little did you know you become one yourself, by name and by nature. Come on, Laura, this one isn't on my entry list. Don't forget, by the way, if you haven't quite got your fix of rally action today and you quite like your highlights package, we've got a roundup of action from the BTRDA Rally Championship, the Pro Time Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, the Welsh Rally Championship, and a host of one-off standalone events as well in our Seacon UK Rally Show, which you can watch on the first Friday of every month. But the last 5 shows, I can't believe we're 5 shows in, are available to watch online right now. Just look on the special stage, social media, YouTube, Facebook. 136 was, Laura?
We'll try that again. It was Aoife Rafferty.
Aoife Rafferty. Colin O'Rourke. Shane Gillooly.
Yeah, always has a nice car, does Colin. Always nice livery and...
Again, another starlet on his CV.
Yeah. Well, I know he's had a Polo in the past, but he's gone back to a Fabia. Always looks good.
He's gone from Polo R5 to Fabia.
Yeah, I think he's had Fabias before. I think he likes his cars to be right on drive. So
is that an Evo?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It looked like it, but he was going well there.
If you're just tuning in, I know we've got some new audience members. Thank you for joining us. Whatever you're doing this afternoon, do let us know. I'll get to the stream in a short while. The other voices you can hear, I'm delighted to say, John Stone and Lauren Marshall joining us out here on our live coverage of the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. Paul Morrison and Mark James, who will be back for the next round, by the way, just putting the world to rights on our WhatsApp group in the Asphalt Championship admin WhatsApp group, talking about how much better the Pro Tyre Championship is than the WRC. I would agree. Eamon McGuigan going well in his Escort. We've got a rally dog. We always seem to pick up a rally dog at these events. Rally dog just doesn't seem bothered by the noise. Seems to be quite enjoying himself.
Well, it's good. It's a good day out, isn't it? It's a good spectacle. Great spot where we are again.
Lots of people to get stroked by. If you're just tuning in, I'm talking about a rally dog. Hey, look at his face. He wants to be stroked by everybody, all the people. We met a rally dog at the last address as well. I've got to say, the gentleman who was in the house next to where we were stood in the last stage, I mean, he disappeared, didn't he? He didn't come back, but it's always nice to meet the locals. And these events are all about local people and local competitors to a degree as well. Pro Tyre Crews mixing it with the locals here is a great spectacle. Mark Johnston and Colin Irvine there, went from front-wheel drive to four-wheel drive then to rear-wheel drive from there. Hello, mate. Hello. Gotta love a rally dog. Sorry, just having a conversation with a dog at the side of the stage here. This is stage 6 of the Carry-Dove Forklift Down Rally, round 6 of the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. We'll see if the dog wants an interview. I've interviewed a dog before, actually.
Shine, yeah.
I think it should be part of the champion. You know, like in some championships, you have to marshal around. I think it should be part of. Look at John's face. He's like, I know what's coming. You've already done yours though. It should be part of the deal that if you register for championship points, you have to come out and do it. Mind you, they might not get any entries.
I think we should have the darts walk-on thing for rally drivers. I think,
like in NASCAR.
Yeah. It'd just be awesome at the start of the season, wouldn't it? You know.
But you've got to come out and your walk-on has to characterise you. I mean, you'd get some real stuff on you.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I'll come back to you on that one. What would be mine?
Yeah, actually, we need to know what your darts walk-on would be. We'll keep you posted on that one. He's thinking about it. Laura, can you think what John Stone's darts walk-on might be?
I'm not commenting that one.
It's all become very emotional. We've become delirious after a day on the Northern Irish lanes.
It will be in the style of Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger has many styles, John. It has to be more specific than that, I'm afraid. Laura's got her head in her hands. What on earth have we descended into? Steve Wood leads the way in our Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship cruise. Neil Roskell having a bit of a tricky day out here on the stages, having had 2 offs, but he's been lucky. He's got away with both of them so far. Now needs to rein it in. Steve Simpson sitting in a podium position at the moment in his Rally 2 Fiesta. Here's Jeff Glover. Just outside the top 10 Pro Tyre cruise, but he's lost time to his 32nd marker man. Finton McGrady and Dean Beckett in their Escort RS 1800. Don't forget to join Phil Brammill after this in Hamilton's Folly. What time's Phil live, producer Wayne? He's live right now. Is that just at the start of the stream? That was good timing, wasn't it? So if you are wanting some action from that second jump in Hamilton's Folly, Phil Brammill is live in a second live broadcast on the special stage and on the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship page right now, and probably, hopefully, you'll be able to find it on the Down Rally page as well. 2 live streams back to back here on the Carry-Dove Forklift Down Rally as the 2 of the UK's leading, the 2 biggest and best Asphalt Rally Championships go back to back, sharing the billing. Pro Tyre Motorsport UK and the McGrady Insurance Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championships. That really is such an incredible car. Kieran O'Kane, Sean Devlin. That was the car that stole my heart on the Jim Clark. I always think about, when I come to a rally, I have a thing, and you guys have to take part in this. My friend Tom Hutchins and I have a thing. We have to pick a car that we take home. You can only have 1 car from the entry, so you've got to pick a car. I'll let you think about it. John Stone, Laura Marshall, and you've got to think about what car you take home from today's proceedings. For Margot Christie in their EK9 Civic. Nicely done as well around there in the handbrake. John, you've got your car already, I can tell. You look confident.
Yeah, Starlet. Definitely Starlet. Yeah.
You can share it. You share a car normally, so, you know, there's no point in stopping now. So you pick another one anyway, just to mix things up.
Oh, you've caught me off cuff now. I suppose any Mark II Escort.
Any Mark II Escort. Any Mark II Escort.
Down and out. We'll have a shot in it.
Yeah, okay. John Stone was talking about perhaps having a shot on a closed road in a Mark II Escort. Darren Atkinson, if you fancy swapping to a Polo R5 for a rounder, there's your chance. No, he doesn't. No, he goes well enough in that Mark II, doesn't it? I haven't decided what car I'm taking home yet. Or have I? I'll have a think. I had to say that Nova, we saw it was being driven brilliantly. But again. Jimmy Mills and Ashley Trimble just stalling the Mark II on the hairpin, and you could hear the disappointment from the crowd. I do love the little community that you become a part of when you spend a few hours stood by the side of a rally stage with a bunch of people that you've mostly never met. I think it would have to be Andrew Bush's Chevette, actually, because it's so beautifully prepared and it's very historic inside as well. It's, none of these modern, well, there's one modern dial, but we'll let him off that. Most of them have got chrome rims on.
Yeah, when were you born, Paul? About 1953 or something?
Yeah, probably a little bit after my time. I do drive an old car myself, so I live in a past that I wasn't even a part of most days. Trevor Wilson from County Armagh, who swaps his Mark II for a historic Porsche 911 every now and again. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a Mark II. Maybe not quite as much as Laura Marshall. Any Mark II, all the Mark IIs, but I do love Mark II. But I do like variety as well. So to have a 911 out here would have been quite something, I think. I have always fancied having a go. It's Alan McKay, isn't it? Who was meant to be out in the Anglia. I've got it down as third in B13. I think I put that on the wrong line, don't you? I think that's meant to be Andy Scott's line. I've always fancied to go in one of those EK9 Civics, but the thing that makes me want, it's actually the one before, what's the first one? The first one that came over here, the roundy one, because it's Mark Higgins' video from Brandywell Cottage where he talks his way around the stage. That's what makes me want to have a go in a Civic, because it just looks brilliant. It's a really old school video, that, but I love the way he's driving around, and he's obviously been told, you know, talk about the oil, talk about the tyres, and he gets them all in. He's like, plug.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, I think we've all watched that video, haven't we? You know, looking for tips and things, tackling that particular stage, because it's such a tricky stage.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a car that has seen better days, although, to be honest, it looks worse than it is. That is just a bumper. There's just an awful lot of bumper to take off on the front of those things. So Connor Wilson and Katie Wilson.
I'll tell you, one of the things you can, where we stood, is just outside of Hairpin. You can see the Mark II Escort boys really grappling with the car. You know, it's a real physical sort of thing. It's quite impressive to see.
These modern ones have, you know, got the power steering, haven't they? They're not as the historic cars around here would be interesting, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the last one I saw was a historic spec, I think. So he'd been over power steering.
Stephen Whitford and Johnny Hart, the first of our micro challenge crews. Did we see Dominic Hodge through earlier? I'm not sure we did we? The plain white micro, we may have done. Stephen Whitford, the micro challenge, a thing over here in Northern Ireland, and it's great to see them out, because these cars need a bit of a home, and we could do with we've got quite a few of them on gravel in the BTRDA, haven't we? We've got people like Ed James and Richard Garnett, and Matthew Jackson's building one as well, which is good.
I'd love to see the minis out here, the John Goff's minis. I think they'd go really well. I think the crowd would appreciate them as well.
Yeah, if you've not checked it out and you do fancy getting into rallying, I would hasten to add that apart from Rally First, the Mini Challenge, the modern BMW Minis of John Goff's, is probably the cheapest way to go rallying. I think there was a car for just under $5,000, and it looked really well prepped as well. It wasn't your drag it out of a back shed job. It was really well done, and it was under $5,000, I'm pretty sure, because John was putting posts about it. He is the king of one make and of affordable rallying. Of course, his rallyschool.co.uk exploits in the BTRDA and the circuit champions, they were legendary, and he got a lot of people into rallying that probably wouldn't have without what he did.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've hired a Twingo off him once. We liked it that much, we ended up buying it. Yeah, great. I think John's doing a fantastic job for getting people into the sport.
I remember when he retired, and he just, Andy Scott comes here third in B13, 31st in the overall championship, just inside the top 10 on the day here on the Carrier Forklift Down Rally in terms of our Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship crews. Ian Robertson alongside, and he's been driving Mark II Escorts for all of his 11 years in rallying. Yeah, John Goff is somebody who just could not retire, and I'm pleased he didn't, because I thought it'd be a poor day to see him leave the sport. And as John Stone says, do check out that mini challenge.
Yeah, I think
Nicky Coy and Graham Stewart, who campaigned an R3 DS3 for a short while. Was that in the BRC days? I'm sure they did the Ulster. I remember the car.
Not sure. I was just thinking back to John. I spoke to him a few weeks ago actually, and he says you can put if you built the car yourself, you can get a Mini on the starting line for about £5,500–6,000, which is incredible, and that's including buying the car.
That's spectacular, isn't it?
Fantastic. It's a great way into the sport. You know, it's fantastic.
I know, it'd be fun. I mean, I did the Cambrian in a Rally First Micro one year with Tim Rogers, and you don't need something fast in the woods to have an awful lot of fun, particularly if you've got a bunch of people and the camaraderie in a one-make series in the same car as you, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, he was telling me about the supercharged version. He said that is as fast as you really need it to be, really. So yeah, I look forward to having a go in one of those.
The sounds of Group A there in that. I'm not sure it is Group A spec, but it sounds good. Michael McGee, maybe. John Maggleton started their rallying career. Do you know which one it is, or are you just grimacing because I gave people two options? I think it's always good to give people options. If you can't pronounce the name, give them a few versions and they can pick one. And Michael will no doubt message me on Facebook later to say I picked the wrong one. That's normally what happens. We're not going to mention that on here. Everybody's favourite Irish co-driver there, Laura Marshall, alongside John Stone. And then embarrassingly, I walked into the awards do and having been told that I got that wrong, and there you were. That was a nice night.
I mean, some days I maybe do sound Irish when I'm shouting at John on the stages, but yeah, I am actually Scottish.
I know that now. I've had worse faux pas than that. I can't think of one now. Well, actually, I've been calling Mark Twynham for about 10 years, and it took him 10 years to tell me. Dan Petrie as well. It was Dan Petrie until Michelle told me last year that I've been doing that for my whole rally TV career. William Heron and Jay Colville. Someone once told me, when my first producer in radio told me, if you make a mistake, don't talk about the mistake, just move on and everyone will forget it. I forgot that, and I tell everyone about my mistakes every single time when I run out of other things to say. And Laura was only too happy to join in and tell me about mine mistake there as well.
Time's just coming in now.
Thanks, John.
Hamilton's follow, so yeah, we'll change the subject. Catherine's extended his lead to 26 seconds, which is super impressive, really.
To remind you, Hamilton's Folly is live with Phil Bramwell right now, our second special stage crew, capturing the action from the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship.
Yeah. Big farm. Yeah. Two twins. Yeah.
Sounds a bit rough, doesn't it? Jay Nevins and Egan Moore's Peugeot 205 rear-wheel drive car. Yeah, it doesn't sound great. Up next then, after the lanes of Northern Ireland, we're back to the lanes of Wales for Rally Ceredigion for the last 2 rounds of the series, like the Manx, making up the last 2 rounds of the series. And that will be, I guess with today's result, it will be everything to win for Callum Black on that round if he can get 2 good results, but it's going to be an uphill challenge, isn't it, after today's retirement?
It is. I'm not 100% sure whether Callum's doing that or not. I think at the start of the season he said he couldn't do that for some reason, but
today's proceedings may have changed that.
It may have made it difficult to miss it, really.
You know what it's like, you sort of have best laid plans, don't you, and then a result or two either go your way or don't, and things can change.
Yeah, I mean, he's come so far, so he needs to do it, really.
There you go, Callum, if you're listening to this. Jack, if you're listening, give him a nudge. You need to be doing the final 2 rounds of the championship. John Adams and Noel Watt. They've been rallying that car since 2017. That's, not many people these days stay in a car for as long as that, do they?
No, I think you sometimes have to change just to see if you can sort of push the pace on a little bit. You get a bit too sort of stale in one car, so I think it's as well to move on a bit if you can.
This is a great looking car up next. fantastic looking thing. Grant Shand, Rodri Evans alongside. Used to rally a 6R4 and a Mazda 323 4-wheel drive. Remember those Group A monsters?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I remember the Group M ones when they came. They all had the same sort of ending number plate, didn't they? UK or something like that. Yeah. They was breaking gearboxes and things, if I remember right. But a few years ago, you could pick one up for about £3,500-4,000 quid, couldn't you?
Did John Goff have one of them? Talking about John Goff.
He did, yeah. I think he's had all sorts, hasn't he? He's had some real weird and wonderful things, hasn't he? 207s and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
I do like that Rally Extreme car, though. It just reminds me of the early Rothman. It's meant to remind me of the early Rothman's liveried 79 Acropolis car of Hannu Mikla. What a car to make a replica of, or to at least pay a passing nod to. Rodri Evans was keen to give a shout out to Alan Bolton and his old man Geraint Evans, who have prepared the car. They're here with them this weekend in Northern Ireland, running them. Josh Douglas in that Mark 1 was going ever so well earlier. It was after our live coverage had ended, wasn't it? But wasn't he going well in that Mark 1, using all of the road over that fast section we were on? Matthew Rooney alongside.
Yeah, I was just looking there. He's bashed both 3/4. So
get this, it's his third ever rally in that car as well.
Fantastic. Well, fair play to him. Really having a go, I think, really. But it's going to cost him a bit in bodywork.
Yeah, it is. But if you don't use them, then they just sit there in the garage gathering dust, don't they? But yeah, he's going extremely well this morning. I wish we could have shown you that clip of them going ever so sideways and kicking up the gravel on the outside. If you remember that bit of stage we were on earlier for stage 2, which seems an awful long time ago now. Mind you, I have actually had a sleep since then.
It's quite a while ago, that.
Yeah. A long days that when you're outside the rally car, John. You don't cover as much mileage, but you talk a lot.
No, I mean, fair play. I mean, it's a bit of an art form, really, and I don't think drivers and co-drivers perhaps appreciate it, but we certainly do now.
Well, it's been great to have you here. I know from the comments that I need to ask you at home whether you've enjoyed having John Stone and Laura Marshall out with us. I know you have, because you've been commenting all day on the stream, telling us as much. But it has been what I hoped it would be out here for my first experience of the Northern Irish lanes. Paul McKenna and Damien Toner. Another crew who count a Toyota A86 as one of their many conquests in a long rally history. Just as we get towards the end of our live stream, just to remind you that Phil Bramwell is live in Hamilton's Folly. Just pulled up, and do let us know where you're watching from. Andy Jefferson says, watching in your neck of the woods, Lely. Clearly having a bit of a conversation here. Marty Booth enjoying the coverage. Brian Kemp as well. Go on, John.
Yeah, looks like Steve Woods had a bit of a nightmare on Hamilton's Folly. Looks like he's got a stage maximum, I think, which means that Neil has got ahead of him. So, yeah, currently Neil is leading the Pro Tyre at the moment.
A bit more drama then to add to the mix today. We had Steve Wood overtake. See John McCulloch. John McCulloch alongside that unarched Mark II Escort. Do like a good unarched Mark II.
Obviously been a stoppage in there because Alan Carmichael has got a maximum as well, so that'll probably need sorting out. So somebody's probably blocked the stage. And
if you're watching the live stream of Phil Bramwell, you'll probably be able to tell us more than we're seeing. Dan Halpin, enjoying the coverage. Good to have you with us. Richard McClurkin, Damien McCann alongside there. Another crew who have only ever rallied in Mark II Escorts, and quite often it's the way over here. Tony Hewitt and Jordan Joins having a conversation about the rotary Mark II Escort that we were talking about earlier. Steve Hopewell with the rotary car. Stu Mod, good to have you with us as well.
Yeah, I think Thomas Preston was being derogatory earlier on about my age, but he'll probably remember the last time we were both at the down rally when I beat him by 1.3 seconds or something like that on the last stage.
There's always something in his comments.
Yeah, he's good. He's bitter. He's very bitter. it's just because I'm Blackburn's fastest driver and he's about third, really.
I did see somebody post up about you being Blackburn's fastest driver earlier, actually. I think it was a comment about having to tuck your belly in. Blackburn's fastest driver tucking the belly in. Who was that?
It was either me, Nigel Worswick, or Tom Brown.
Nigel Worswick. No, somebody else commented on the... Nigel Worswick isn't... oh, there we go. Nigel Worswick might have been Blackburn's fastest driver back in the 90s, as he likes to rekindle those memories so often, but... He does more rallying with rum these days.
He does. Nigel's won quite a lot of... I think he's won the Camry about 5 times in the past. Always had a nice car. And he's got loads of cars at the moment.
In the 90s as well, he has the top cars, didn't he? He was doing the RAC and Escort Cosworth and Sierra Cosworth.
Yeah, he used to have black slip-on shoes with grey slacks and... rally.
Back to the fashion, because we missed this. We had this earlier on. John was giving us some... So Nigel Worswick's not somebody we need to watch for fashion tips then?
No, but I think Richard Crozier must be following his tips. It's sort of like a
Just remind us.
Well, the tip that we'll all be wearing next year will be tracky bottoms with dress shoes. Brogues, if you can.
Brogues, if you can. If you can. Richard Weatherly, Sean...
Neil Roskell on a 7:37.2, so Steve Wood still pushing on in there.
That still puts us, reverses back to where we are, not reverses, puts us to where we thought we were, with Steve Wood leading the way in terms of our Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship Cruise. Then it's title leader Neil Roskell. Stephen McGurk with Mark O'Connor did their first rally in a Peugeot 205. And then went on to a rear-wheel drive Peugeot 205 and liked that so much they decided to stay with rear-wheel drive and get an Escort. And there you see the results of that endeavour. The locals just getting excited about a lady carrying a dog down the stage. Joel Eakin and Sean Doherty getting the spectators revved up there, moved from a Civic into that Fiesta, and clearly underestimated the amount of ground clearance to take such a big cut on a hairpin like that. Do you, that famous year when we had those really tight hairpins on the Manx, do you remember, I'm sure it was you that no, it wasn't, it was Damien Cole that went so tight it almost tipped the car up onto 2 wheels on those hairpins.
Yeah, it's easily done, isn't it? I mean, just watching the lad there coming round, so it's just look at the draw really. If you get that line wrong a bit, it doesn't take much. If there's a rock in there or something like that, you're over. You know, we've done it so many times where we've nearly gone over. But
Steve Allman-Smith nearly did it on Sartfield hairpin on the Manx as well. Just clattered the underneath of that Evo and fired it up onto 2 wheels, almost on the rims.
Yeah, very easily done. But yeah, it's not easy. You've got to attack the corner really, and just hope the car does it for you. Really.
Here we have Dominic Hodge, I think, and Stefan Arndt, if I'm not mistaken. There we go, 2016 BTRDA Rally First champion in a Micra, and has since got hold of that wide arch Micra and is now here in Northern Ireland on the Carryduff Forklift Down Rally in the Nissan Micra Challenge. And how good does that look? Dominic and Stefan were having a ball last night in Lisbon. They were absolutely loving the atmosphere out here, and they were looking forward to this. Dominic's really passionate about his Micras, having won Rally First in one, and I think that's where he sees himself sticking in that kit car. Now it's got a home, why not? It's a cracking way to go rallying.
I mean, they still look great, even though they're quite an old car now. They still look fantastic.
Yeah, and they go well as well. Looking forward to seeing Matt Jackson out in his when he finally gets it built. We haven't seen Matt Jackson's old Micra yet on the stages, but this could be it. Pick any car and ask. No, that's Peter Dowds, isn't it? Stephen Dowds alongside 1999, here's a bit of rally history for you. Peter did one rally in Belgium in a Ford Ka in one of the challenge cars. I think it was actually one of the Carlos Sainz, you know, the Spanish ones. And after that, he's been in a Micra ever since 1999.
Great cars. I mean, easy to drive, easy to look after. So yeah, what's not to like about them?
I think actually looking at that road, it's probably quite off-putting when you come up to that now with all the mud and stuff on the road. Probably, it's not necessarily going to put you off, but it'll put you out your stride if you just wonder what's gone on there.
Yeah. I mean, you see some of the lads are just coming up and they're really attacking it and they're getting around okay. But if you're just a little bit tentative or lacking in confidence a little bit,
You see that mud and think, oh God, I don't want to be chucking it on that. Here we go. This could be Matt Jackson's old Micra. You'll have to watch the. It is. This is Matt Jackson's old Micra. Yeah, this is the Super 1000 car that became a rally kit car. What a great looking car that is. Shades of Mark Higgins here. Yeah, it was left-hand drive. That's how you tell it's Matt Jackson's old Micra, as they all told me last night in Lisbon, John.
Do you have any other topic than Matt Jackson's old Micra?
Not now we're done. I've put that one to bed. I've put Matt Jackson's old Micra to bed. We're now sorted with that.
Have you got gym jams with Matt Jackson's old Micra on them?
No, but I should have, shouldn't I?
You should, yeah.
I'm delighted that I've seen it. Laura is having a bit of an emotional moment with the wall. If you're just tuning in and you're thinking, oh no, I've missed most of the action through this 6th stage of the day, don't worry, because Phil Bramwell is live in 7th stage of the day, Hamilton's Folly, and he's got a big jump for you. I think we had a bit of a gap there and a bit of time to sort out, but now they're back on track there. So to remind you, the leaderboard in the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, it goes like this: Steve Wood, Neil Roskell, Steve Simpson, your podium sitters so far. William Hill just outside. Another impressive drive from him in the Rally 3 Fiesta. Talking of impressive drives, Sean Foy and Claude McMorrow in that little Micra there were going so well earlier, weren't they? You remember they were batting that thing through the stage this morning, John. They've actually been in Sierra Cosworth's Evo 5 Sunbeams, and there they are in the Micra Challenge, but they were pushing that one on earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that's the surprising thing for me, is that you see the commitment still right the way through the field, which is great to see.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier, and that's what we love about rallying in Northern Irish lanes. So 4th place, William Hill, to go back to that. Richard Clues in the Subaru, had a bit of a shocker here on the hairpin in the Subaru, with Carl Williamson alongside. In 5th place at the moment on the Pro Tyre leaderboard, Darren Atkinson, with Phil Sandham alongside in 6th place. Sam Adams, impressive drive from him in 7th place, and Beaton in 8th place. Where are we up to? We're up to 9th, aren't we? Andy Scott is in 9th place, and it's John and Rachel McCulloch, who you saw in that unarched Mark II Escort, in 10th. John, everybody is now getting that hairpin wrong. Do you think it could be the mud on the road? Is that just putting a few people off, just chucking it in?
I mean, there's actually some grass and all sorts of stuff. I couldn't think of the word grass, but yeah, it's out there now, and it's a bit grim really. The front-wheel drive car seems to be struggling. Another one struggling now, almost taking the wrong line really, and then booting it. Just keep thinking about poor drive shafts really, but yeah, got to be careful with that.
What was it? Shaft popper?
Yeah, definitely a shaft popper.
You say it better than I do. It's that Scottish accent. Yeah, the road is looking a bit of a mess down there, isn't it? After we've had a few cars up the verge, you can see as well. We've got tyre marks on either side. Everyone using all of the road that they can do here in the 6th stage. The weather has stayed fairly consistently dry after that little shower that we had, and that will be pleasing many, because these are tough stages to do when it's wet, and it's been really warm all day. Does that make a huge difference, John? Or is it when the extremes of warm and cold that make the difference?
Yeah, I mean, it's critical on the tyres. Certainly Michelin that we use, each compound has a different temperature rating, so it's important you get it right. There's quite a bit of an overlap on some of them, but it's absolutely crucial. You know, the cars are so similar performance-wise. It's just down to tyres, really, a lot of it.
Quinn and Sean McGuigan doing their 4th ever rally in that Fiesta ST. And as John said, particularly the front-wheel drive cars just applying a bit more caution than perhaps the spectators here are hoping for. We just need someone to come in here and really pendulum that car around that hairpin and get them all back going again when the atmosphere sort of died down a little bit, hasn't it, with a few 3-point turns. 3-point turns not very good for atmosphere.
No, not really, but perhaps if they went a bit deeper into the corner, I think it might be a bit better because it's a bit cleaner out there.
Yeah. There you go. If you're sat in the start of the stage watching the coverage, there's John Legend Stone's top tip for getting around the hairpin here with just over a mile to go in stage 6. This is Bucks Head, Hamilton's Folly now live with Phil Bramwell to remind you. Peugeot 306 coming into view now. Yeah, it wasn't really Francois Delacour, was it, for Roger Kennedy? It wasn't really trigger happy, as it says down the side of that car either. Wendy Blackledge alongside. They did their first rally. I'm nerding out on rally cars here again. In 1980, can you guess what car they might have done their first rally in 1980, John?
A Mark II Escort. No.
Land Rover Defender.
Really? Yeah. I started working in 1980. That's how old I am.
Blimey, I was minus 4 years old. That's what minus 4 meant for me.
Yeah, well, I was born in 93. I was trying to do the math quickly.
Thomas Maxwell, Sam McMullen. You've proved today already, Laura, you can do your maths far quicker than I can, but that's what makes you a really good co-driver. One of the many qualities, I'm sure. Actually, working out the times is quite an art in itself, and we're looking down the leaderboard earlier, and of course the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Cruiser. Motorsport UK Cruiser mixed in with the main entry, and I'm sort of looking